Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hellbound Podcast. I am actor Michael Chan, and my co-host is
Alex Blackburn, and I'm the founder of the Hellbound and Isolation Film Festivals. And discover of new ways to keep myself awake. That's what I've been kind of looking into, not
and
through
also
drugs.
superstar filmmaker, editor. Dude, you sell yourself short.
No, I do. It's just I it's kind of from when I started editing, about 20 years ago now. It's kind of a little anniversary. But 20 years of editing, and then obviously through different grades, working on as a run on Band of Brothers and working on a couple of feature films, I tend to work for other people. And this year, I'm making a really concerted effort to work on my own shorts, work on myself in many ways. And with having I won't go into too much detail. With having a partner that's not very well, she's seriously ill. It's helped me. It's pointed me in the right direction, in the direction I should be going in personally in many ways. So yeah, it's a year of working on myself this year.
And that working on yourself is definitely nice, just like how I'm in therapy. So
Yeah, well, that's something I looked at, and I was party to when after coming out of hospital with PTSD from having COVID pneumonia and all of that. And it helped. It really does help. It helped me get through. It helped me function as a normal person, normal member of society after that. So yeah, and I think I keep describing myself as the train at the end of Back to the Future 3. I'm ready to go off the rails, and there's nothing stopping me. I've put those different coloured fuel to the fire in the chamber now, so I feel as I'm going to burn out.
hey man, I totally understand that, and it just got to keep pushing forward, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. You got to, especially when I had this kind of moment a few days ago where it's not about I don't need to look after myself. I can do that at some other point. It's parking myself and just helping someone else that's in dire need of support. And I know at some point I'll have some sort of moment, but this isn't the time. This is the time to look after my partner in life, and watch more movies and watch more horror as well.
Yeah, but based on what I know about what's going on, I do hope that everything works out in the end, and that they'll have some relief.
No, I appreciate that, and there is no other option. It's going to happen. That's my attitude now, so I'm going to be quite bullish about it. I know reality can kick in, but you've got to be super positive, and this is what's going to happen. So
I totally believe it's going to happen. I believe it. You have your support of myself, my family, and all your friends here in Canada.
No, and that's a really good segue, actually, because we're going to talk about probably Infinity Pool that you finally finished. But before that, I've got a segue, and it's the country of birth for that is Canada, and the company I'm talking about is Tim Hortons, and that's the unboxing I have.
They're no longer Canadian. I don't know if you know that.
It's not Canadian.
No, they got bought out.
Oh, no way! That makes me so sad.
I think they're Brazilian.
Right. No? I'm gonna for this exercise and the branding and everything. I'm gonna cut that out. I'm not gonna cut that out.
Oh no! Don't cut it out. No.
It is a staple of Canada.
The world needs to know that Tim Hortons is, although part of our Canadian identity, is no longer owned by a Canadian company. Whereas Toys R Us, which originally was an American company, is now a Canadian company.
Oh, okay. So today, I want you to kind of tell me what the differences might be. There's two main coffee options. There's obviously lots of cool versions, like with ice and everything. This is a Tim Hortons, a dark roast coffee with milk. That's what I kind of normally go for.
They use Arabica beans. I don't know what the regular ones use, but I do know they push the Arabica beans.
Yeah, because it's all like brand.
It's more bitter.
And the option I went for in terms of food, I had a chicken thing earlier, but I got the mixed box of 12, which is ridiculously big for me. And it's not just.
Wait, did they open a shop near you?
Oh yeah, it's literally 2 minutes down the road. Yeah, so it's very popular in the UK now. They took over a lot of Burger Kings in the UK. and then
Well,
they
that
just
would make
kind of,
sense because the company that owns Burger King owns Tim Hortons.
well, there you go, yeah, and they took over some Pizza Huts as well. So in here, this won't take too long because it's very simple. We might take a screenshot of this actually. These are probably going to go flying everywhere now. But
Um,
I
I
literally
see.
went for all of them, all the different ones, and then there was only
So you got your honey cruller. You got the maple. Is that the maple glaze? No. Yes. No. Boston
so
cream. That looks like an apple fritter.
yeah, we've got 3 apple fritters because there's only 8 options or 10 options.
Chocolate dip. Oh, maple dip. Sorry, it's called maple dip. Do you have old fashioned? No, no, sour cream glazed. You have,
Yeah.
and I don't recognize the ones with the sprinkles. Usually has a different name. It's usually rainbow colored, but you guys have the sprinkles, which are white and red. And I don't know what that one of the Smarties looking things on it is.
Oh, it's just some Smarties and dark chocolate or something. So at some point, I'll be able to eat those, and I'm trying to be a good boy, but I'll have one of those a day if I can resist.
Wait, you're not going to eat one on air?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna have to have one of the apple fritters. That's my wife's. Oh God, that's so gooey. Oh my God, this is gonna get disgusting.
Oh man, yours looks so much better than ours.
Really?
The apple fritters. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go for. No, I'm gonna go for the glazed. I'm gonna keep it classic.
All right.
Oh my God, this is pure filth.
And that isn't just any glaze; it's old-fashioned glazed.
Yes, that's it. That's what they said in the sign. Yeah.
It's a different. It's a different flavor of dough. A lot of people hate it here, like the old-fashioned, but like my parents and I, it's one of our faves, especially if you dip it
Coffee.
in coffee. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to do that now.
Dip that one. Seriously, it makes it better.
Should we label this ASMR now?
Makes me so happy to watch my friend in UK actually having Canadian food on the air.
Have you ever gotten, out of anyone I know, you'd be really great at kind of having the personality to do ASMR, or is that too time consuming for you?
I've never done ASMR. I've joked about ASMR. Never done it.
There's a friend of mine, he does it now. He's been doing it for a few years and he's earning really good money from it.
Yeah, I don't think I have time for that. Besides, all of my time is dedicated to dad jokes outside of acting. So,
yeah, I'm one of your regular viewers.
well, now I apparently I'm turning my whole dystopian future novel based on true Ontario history monologues into a series.
Wow, awesome!
You've seen them, right, on TikTok and on Instagram, where it's like a 1 minute monologue, and those things I talk about, they're not fake. Those are real historical happenings, like real parts of history from Ontario and Toronto that I am writing in such and then delivering in such a way that it sounds like it comes from a novel about a dystopian future. Because if anyone knows anything about what's happening over here in Ontario, our government is turning us into a dystopian society.
Yeah, ours is trying to distract us whilst watch this hand whilst the other hand's doing something devious. That's what's happening currently.
Our government's not even waving anything anywhere. They're just pretty overt about it.
Oh wow.
Good example is we have this protected area called the Greenbelt. It's very important. It has a very important ecosystem. And they just and they're not supposed to be able to build homes or anything really on it. And then all of a sudden he's like, no, I'm just gonna designate a bunch of the Greenbelt as developable. And then his rich our premier's rich buddies, who are home developers, went and bought up the land for cheap, and now the land is worth way more. There should be the corruption charges or stuff like that, but the guy who's supposed to be looking into the corruption turns out to have gone to his daughter's party, like wedding. What do you call those things when you're gonna get married and then you have people come over and they give your kid money? That thing. Is it stag and doe?
No, it could be dependent on the religion as well.
Shower.
Yes.
There you go. Sorry.
Bridal
Yes,
shower.
They showed up to that, and basically, yeah, we now know that even the commissioner is corrupt, so nothing's going to happen to our premiere.
Oh my god!
But that's not for this podcast, even though it is real life horror. That is real life horror. That stuff is happening over here, and there's a lot more. Like he's trying to privatize our health system. He's gutting our health system, blaming it, like basically saying a private system is better than what we have, but he's the one who gutted it and made it bad. So then he's like, well, we need private stuff. We're like, but you took away our stuff.
Yeah.
If you just give it back without the private stuff, we're fine. But you know how that works.
Absolutely.
So that's where we're at. Would you like to talk about Infinity Pool?
Yes, please, because I keep seeing it advertised towards my eyeballs at the moment. I think it's coming out here soon, or something like that.
Well, it was released January 27th of this year in Canada, so 2023.
Okay.
So the movie is, I've read this on our 5-minute reviews already, but I'll read it for this episode. Guided by a seductive and mysterious woman, a couple on vacation venture outside the resort grounds and find themselves in a culture filled with violence, hedonism, and untold horror. A tragic accident soon leaves them facing a zero-tolerance policy for crime. Either you'll be executed, or if you're rich enough to afford it, you can watch yourself die instead. It's directed and written by Brandon Cronenberg, son of David Cronenberg. So obviously you would expect that there is a lot of the classic Cronenberg style and subject matter, and how Cronenberg likes to take what's inside of you and kind of manifest it on the exterior. And this movie, holy moly, is incredible.
Is it as could it be? Is it really obvious that it's Cronenberg's son if you didn't know who was directing it?
No. He has his own style. He really has. He's more artsy than his dad, I noticed.
Okay.
But that's like I like it. I like they obvious. I want them to be different. I don't want them to be. It's just like Stephen King and Joe Hill, right? Like I don't want them to be the same person, even though it's father and. So with Brandon here, he's done. This is like a masterful movie that deals with a whole bunch of stuff, like obviously the corruption and just disgusting nature of wealth, and how the ultra rich are just despicable people with very few morals, but also looking at the idea that we ourselves like to think we're better. We always like to look at them and go, oh, they're such jerks, they're horrible people, I can never do that. Well, what happens if you can?
Yeah.
What happens when you're put in a situation, it's your turn to be the ultra rich? It explores things like that, and there's a very intense character study. Now, what I found amazing outside of the messaging, which was very well done, is that the two leads, Mia Goth, who plays Gabby, and Alexander Skarsgård, who plays James, 100% committed to their roles.
Wow.
Like this is a horror film, like an artistic drama horror character study, and they committed to not only all the obvious, like the more quote unquote normal acting bits, right?
Yeah.
But they also committed to some of the crazier stuff, the insanity, the breakdown, the dehumanization. They went all out and they committed. And part of the impact of the messaging comes from the commitment of these actors to the characters that they're playing, to bring that message forward. And Mia is relatively new as an actor. Mia is from X and from Pearl. As you
yes.
And here she is displaying just why she is such a powerhouse actor and horror, like a wonderful horror actor, who I think potentially has a future not only doing horror but other things as well, because she has the acting chops to do it. But if you need someone who can act and do horror, I mean, that's her.
Yeah.
You have her right here. She is just magical in playing her character. Anyways, I loved it. I do highly recommend everyone check it out. I will say that there are, so it's not as gory as the usual Cronenberg style movies, but there are some kind of more shocking moments to some. Like, it didn't shock me. I'm not really sensitive to a lot of stuff. I'm not desensitized, but like, it just, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't bother me, but it might bother some people. Um, can't really say what it is, but it'll be obvious when you see it. Uh, it's to the point where the U.S. theatrical release had to censor a couple of scenes. So
Wow.
where in Canada, in the Canadian release, it was not censored.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting.
Get that. Canadians are more tolerant than Americans. Ooh.
Oh my god.
They're so scared of certain things down there, and I'm just like, God, it's a part of us. Oh my God, the whole point. Why the movie works so well is because you guys are so scared of that stuff. But anyways,
Yeah,
you'll see what I mean if you watch it. It's really nothing for us up here. But no, it's great. But it was the kind of the shock of it is used to good effect. There's meaning behind it, and good artistic meaning behind it. And again, it won't be for everyone. I've read reviews from people who've watched this. I don't get it, or like, ugh, this is disgusting. But like, and then others who like it, and then there's critics. You know, like if you look at the critical score, it's not the highest. But
do you think
again,
do you think actors on, like, I'm just looking at something called Crimes of the Future with David Cronenberg wrote and directed with Viggo Mortensen, and it's all it's very body horror. Do you think that actors on
that
like,
one? I never
no,
watched it.
do you think actors that work on a feature film that has such kind of possible shocking visuals, or what's the most difficult thing for an actor to, say, in your position, to, what's the point where they get to where it's really difficult to get to? Is it something where it has such grim visuals, or is it more kind of
I mean,
something that they call?
okay, so it's obviously every actor is different. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, grim visuals and all that would never bother me. In fact, I think I would have a lot of fun watching it get made. What would bother me as an actor and be very difficult to play is the perpetrator of a rape,
Yeah.
or sexual assault of a child,
Yeah.
murder of children.
Yeah.
They're the types of things. It's not necessary. It's not, you don't even have to show it. It's the headspace a character has to get into, because those are such vile things that as a human you should be opposed to, and it should revolt you to the point where you don't want to be able to feel anything like that. And yet here's a character that you have to.
Yeah.
And one time in my classes over the years, I had to play not the child stuff, but a rapist.
Wow.
That was very difficult for me, because it goes against everything that I am, everything. So it's the mental part for me. I mean, I'm sure there are actors out there who would be uncomfortable with certain visual aspects, but that's not me.
Yeah. I remember Kevin Bacon talking about this when he was starring in The Woodsman, and he was playing a pedophile that I watched the film, was it 2005, 2006, something like that, and his performance was absolutely one of his best performances ever in his whole career. And he was talking about how difficult it was to get to the headspace of an individual for that. And you hear about people that do research, but how do you even, it's just so incredibly difficult to kind of.
Well, you better be using your incognito tab and
yeah, exactly.
Because I don't want any of my search history, if I ever have to go there again to show any kind of searching for that, or else I guarantee you CSIS, which is the CIA of Canada, will be up my ass.
Yeah.
So just so you know, this is ASMR of me opening a very Chinese plastic bag with a Chinese pineapple bun.
What makes it very Chinese?
It's just, first of all, we shouldn't be using plastic bags anymore, but Chinese places, bakeries, all use the same bag.
Yeah.
And we always have the little heat sealer where you seal it.
Right.
Anyone who goes to a Chinese bakery will expect each and every single bun you buy. If you buy 50 buns, each one will be individually wrapped on the spot and heat sealed for you. That is what we do. Huge waste. Yeah. I keep telling them, you do not need, no. They're like, no, we got to do this. I'm like, okay, all right. And I know the owner. I'm like, can you tell your staff to stop doing it for me? Yeah. No, I don't want this. I'm trying. I'm saving you pennies.
Oh my God, yeah.
But no, if they do it for me, and it'll look bad, right? Because other people might not have the context of my request, and then they'll be like, why is this guy getting poor customer service?
Yeah, oh, there's all of that. I think the same way as you do, because I used to work in retail, and I think you always have to think for other people around you. It's such an odd situation when you want to be a good person.
Yeah, because I don't want other people to think they're being a dick to me, and at which point, and then it'll get them in trouble, right? Like, it's such a complicated thing with my culture and waste.
I see that you're sporting your company merch.
Psychopop Dreams Entertainment hoodie.
That's awesome.
Katisha Shaw, my best friend and co-owner of Psychopop, and I both have one of these.
Epic. So, who designed the logo?
Sure, the rest of the team are like, Michael, where's ours? I'm like, you know what, guys? Why don't you wait for me to book more roles so I have a little bit more cash to then make you guys custom ones as well? I only afforded 2 at one point.
Yeah. So. Who designed the logo?
We have a designer. Well, it started with Jessica Watson. Her stage name is Watson Rose. She kind of took the ideas that we all put together and then brought them to an artist and did it. But I think it's mainly done on Canva though.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. For people that won't be able to watch this, Michael is munching down on something that's quite tasty.
So it's called a pineapple bun, but it has no pineapple in it. We call it a pineapple bun because the sugary crust on top of the bread.
Yeah.
We think it looks like the outside of a pineapple.
Okay.
So there's no actual pineapple bun. If you go to a Chinese bakery and order a pineapple bun, please do not expect there to be pineapple. Some of our stores actually had to start like renaming it to like BLB because people were getting really pissed off that there's no pineapple. Oh, BLB is like anglicization of what we call it bolo. Bolo is pineapple. Bao is like bun. So we're like BLB. Yeah, it's a BLB, guys. Which is stupid, but whatever. Other places have to put up giant signs next to the pineapple buns, like no actual pineapple in bun.
Wow.
You can get a standard one, which is my favorite, but there's also a coconut filling. There's barbecue pork filling, red bean paste filling. There's all sorts of fillings you can get.
Red bean paste filling is amazing. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Just on a thing about food, I'm quite curious. I've never really asked you this. When you were in your informative years, were you kind of exposed to all types of food? Because obviously, it's you had a Canadian Chinese upbringing. Were there foods and things you weren't allowed to have, or?
I was exposed to as many foods as my parents knew too. So what that means is they'll take me to non-Chinese restaurants and experiences and all that.
Yeah.
But it's only within their realm of experience. So for example, one food I didn't really get to experience until high school, when we had kind of like bring stuff to school day. Someone brought like butter chicken, Indian food actually in general. I had never had Indian food until I was in high school. And there's many other foods I didn't have until I was an adult and went to explore. But yeah, it's not like. But my parents did want me to grow up with a cultured palate as much as they could.
Yeah, I that's something that I expose myself to. So as that sounds dreadful. That I try and expose myself to all sorts of foods as often as possible. And I, on a grim note, I did a. My wife and I have updated our wills. We just thought, right, let's get ahead of things. And worst case scenario, these things need to happen. And we had them co-signed by or declared by our neighbors across the road, and they're Japanese neighbors. And it when I walked into their kitchen, and they were just lovely people, it was like another world. It was just absolutely amazing just to smell everything. Just wanted to sit there and stay for dinner. Obviously, I wasn't invited, but yeah, that's something we hope once the house is finished here, we can invite them over. And there's quite a few different types of people from all over the place on our street. So we really hope to kind of expand our taste buds a little bit more.
Well, when you come to Toronto, finally, I need to take you because I need to go check it out myself too because I discovered the place during the pandemic, but don't go downtown Toronto enough to actually go try it. But it's called Tea and Bannock. It's I'm gonna read the description here. Cheery, laid back eatery dispensing Aboriginal dishes, including buffalo elk and fry bread. This place is the most well-known Indigenous food establishment here in Toronto.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Mind you, there's several other places as well, like Powwow Cafe, and yeah, there's other places, the names of which I will not try to pronounce because I don't want to offend anybody. But yes,
love it. I absolutely love it. I think we're definitely doing that. We're going to turn it into a podcast episode for your previous show. We should just do that.
Oh my god. Yes, just bring back a little bit of talking with our mouths full. I mean, I'm doing that right now. I'm eating, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's that sounds like a great. Just to take it back to Infinity Pool, it sounds like did Jessica finish watching it with you, or because she didn't want to finish it? Is that right?
She didn't even start.
It's not her cup of tea.
It's not that. It's that outside of body horror, which already bothers her, the trailer for Infinity Pool showed people with faces that look disfigured, and that is something that really grosses her out and disturbs her. Like that type of disfigurement.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give away what any of that means or is.
Okay.
But that was the main reason why she didn't want to watch it. I have since told her that it's not that bad. But it doesn't matter. Like, she won't watch it.
Yeah, I can agree. I can, I'll definitely be watching it because I love who's involved. I love Skarsgård. I love to see, I love watching what Ivan Reitman's son did with the new Ghostbusters, and it's great to see how the next generation of a family kind of contribute to cinema, and I'm quite curious about that because I've been a fan of Cronenberg's for not everything, but a lot of what he's done. And he's in Discovery, isn't he? He's got like a 7-episode arc as a character.
David Brandon has, yes, he is definitely in our show. Very important part of our show. Now, obviously, he's not in a lot of episodes.
Yeah,
and he's in every episode, but he comes and goes, and I love everything about his work on Discovery. It's just unfortunate that because of the location of his character, like relative to mine on the Federation headquarters ship, we could never share a scene or even be in the same studio. So that was very sad because I was like, I want to meet David Cronenberg. He's my favorite director of all time.
He is an absolute true legend, and I saw a trailer for his new film, Crimes of the Future. It was a film released last year, and it has got an absolute stellar cast: Viggo Mortensen, Leah Seydoux, Kristen Stewart, Scott Speedman. It looks very him, if you know what I mean.
It does. What's unfortunate is because I haven't seen it, and I will.
No, but that's
Uh,
that's what I wanted to make a point about. We should
we
definitely
should
try
watch it.
and watch it
But I
and
will
then
tell
come
you
back
right
to
now,
it.
my best friend, Kat, she really didn't like it and walked out of the theater.
Right. Oh, we're gonna have to watch it. We're going to have to.
So we're gonna have to. Honestly, if I end up liking it, that's gonna cause a rift in our friendship. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Kat. No, it won't.
I
Please
can't
don't hate me.
imagine. I can't imagine Kat's the kind of person that would walk out of, because she
She
is one of
really
the
does.
most supportive people of creators I've ever
Depends on,
spoken to,
yes,
and
if the messaging is bad, she
yeah.
will. I would too, actually. Like if I was watching something, it was clearly, let's say,
Have you ever walked
meant
out of
to
anything?
be. No, I've only ever had to leave because this is true fact. I have never finished any of the Bourne movies because and I've tried because each and every time I watch one, I throw up.
Is it the way it's shot, or
Yeah, I'm pretty certain it's like the movie Jackie Brown, same thing. Like I have never been able to get through it. I've tried 3 times, I've
wow,
full on thrown up all 3 times.
that's
So
amazing.
the Bourne movies are I understand its action, and I think the way they were trying to film it was to have that urgency and the tension, but also like the action feeling with the camera not exactly being still. And I have motion sickness and something about those Bourne movies, so I have never actually finished one. I've always had to leave, which is
Wow.
unfortunate. And again, I don't want to walk out. It's not that I want to walk out. I literally cannot finish because if
I
I go again, I
Yeah.
will be a problem for everybody
I've
else.
walked out of one movie. I think it was in 99 or 2000, and then there's a second movie a good number of years later that I wanted to walk out of, and because of the who it was, I'll tell you the two movies. The first movie was called Touching the Void. It's about mountain climbing, and I rarely get bored by anything. I'm so open minded when it comes to cinema. I love things that are super slow, action packed, controversial. If I know what I'm kind of going into initially, I don't need to see a trailer, but I'm very open minded. And I couldn't have been more bored by this film, Touching the Void. And it was lauded, Matt, and I just detested it. And the fact that I worked at the cinema that it was showing at, I thought, yeah, I can afford to just leave. And I've stopped films on Netflix, so it's almost the equivalent where I feel as though my time's being wasted because time's so precious now. You know that with a family, it's very, very
Oh yeah,
precious. Any
I'm
kind of
picky
spare
on what I
time.
watch now, man.
Exactly, yeah. And the other one was Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because
Oh dear God.
I personally felt insulted that I couldn't believe Steven Spielberg had made the movie. I thought it was absolute garbage, and it kind of went against the standards. I won't say the standards of all three, but the standards that Spielberg had set in cinema. Like, I love Avatar, I love Avatar 2 and all of that, and I like all kinds of craziness. But the set pieces were terrible because they were all on green screen. Shia LaBeouf's casting I thought was dreadful. The everything about it
Oh, it was
was
bad.
I
It
was
was
so
bad. I
close to
didn't want.
walking. I was so angry. I had a rant about for about half an hour. I was driving home with a friend of mine. I had this huge rant about it. I hated it. Truly hated the film.
Yeah, it was really, 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 really bad.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't
I
even
was
know how to
frustrated. I was
describe
really frustrated by it.
how bad that was.
Yeah. It's got nothing to do with Harrison's age. It's got nothing to do with that at all.
Oh no, not at all.
But yeah, I was so passionate. I'm the most passionate when I'm frustrated by something. Which is ridiculous thing to say, but
Does ending a TikTok before it's finished based on a scene from a one of those Christian movies count as me walking out?
yeah.
Someone posted a 5 minute scene from some Christian movie. And it's a man, like this really old man, coming home with flowers or for anyways. So he gets home, he walks around, looks like a creeper for no like whoever this actor is doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
and they're holding these flowers, and then a much younger woman comes out. They have a dispute, and it turns out that that's not his wife or anything. That's the woman he's, I think, cheating on his wife with. And then she said one line, and I just stopped the TikTok. Like at first I was just watching it because I was like, oh my god, it's so bad, it's hilarious. But then she's like, blah 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 blah, cousin. That's her cousin.
Oh my god.
Stop the clip. I'm like, nope, swipe away. I'm done. I can't. Nope.
Yeah.
It's badly acted, badly shot, badly edited, terrible sound, and on top of that, it's incestuous. Wonderful.
And that's not just the review of Cocaine Bear. That is.
Well, Cocaine Bear is a masterpiece, but we'll talk about it next.
Oh, we're gonna have. We'll definitely dedicate just one episode to that too.
Yeah,
I think we have quite a fluid conversation about that because I don't want to touch upon any of it until we get to that point.
So we get to the episode where the two of us will probably end our entire podcast. Talk to each other ever again.
That's it. We're done. Michael.
This is the line.
Yeah. I was looking at a message from Michael. This is for people that I would recommend you. I don't know to see it, but you should find out about the film at the very least. I was looking at a message from Michael.
Watch the trailer and see if it's for you.
Yeah, when I saw,
very obvious what kind of movie it is.
Yeah, I feel as though when I see Michael's messages about a movie I've watched, he's going to agree, or passionately disagree. I think it's like there's two options.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, it's either I agree or like I disagree so badly that the two of us are just like, yeah, we can't get over this one.
I was like, oh my god, because I know I don't do it on purpose. I don't ever look to open a can of worms about anything, because I've written political things that are about, like, I wouldn't say anti-government, but I would say how I feel, and then I've reined it in. I've written the whole thing, but it puts out this negative energy into the world, and I only cry out about things when it's going to be acted upon. I'm not into signaling or riling people up on purpose. But when it comes to movies, oh my god, like The Last Jedi was one where I felt the most passionate or dislike towards because of the way things were executed and all of that. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. But then I read this message from Michael. It was for everyone that doesn't know, I posted about it on Facebook, and I went on a bit of a rant because of certain I won't say certain aspects, but most aspects of the movie. And I was like, oh no, here's Michael. He's going to totally disagree. It's very interesting to see your perspective. That's why I think we absolutely need an episode just dedicated to Cocaine Bear.
Yeah.
And know what? There's if you watch the movie and if you're watching this retrospectively when the film is released on digital or Blu-ray, watch it and have drinks set aside, like shots of tequila or something, but drink every time they say the word cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
Every time they say cocaine, take a drink. That's the game for that movie.
Last thing before we get to go. Do you want Pedro Pascal's voice telling you to do very naughty things?
Yeah.
Because I own the Mandalorian Bop It.
Bop it to start. Bop it. Twist it. Easy. Score 1. I score 1. Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. Pull it. Twist it.
Have you posted about this?
Nope, and I will.
TikTok, you've got to, because it falls in line with his online, not persona, but the way he's perceived online.
Yeah.
That can be interpreted as pure filth.
See, I have a crush on him right now.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, love him to bits.
The only problem is that I have to like bop, twist, and pull on Grogu to have Pedro say those lines.
You have to pull on Grogu to hear Pedro's voice.
Saying pull it. Well, he says pull it, and I have to pull it. This is getting really bad.
Like I can't.
Come on, you saw what I was doing on camera. I was pulling and twisting and
God.
popping it.
I'm gonna use that.
And then every single time Pedro says something, and I do whatever it is he asked me to do to Grogu, Grogu may like, ooh.
Oh my fuck. Right. Oh my god. Oh my
That's
god.
a horror toy for all of you.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with this idea. I don't know who okayed. Somebody made a mistake with this, and that's why I picked it up. It was in the freaking bargain bin at not Toys R Us, at Walmart, so I had to get it because it was so dumb, and I was playing with it in the store and felt embarrassed. So I had
But you couldn't help yourself. You had to pull and push it.
Yes, and I'm not going to put it down either. I'm just going to go and buy it because at this point, I just don't want people to even see what I was pulling and pushing.
Oh, Michael, I think we need to end it there.
Okay. All right, everybody. If you like listening to Pedro Pascal tell you to bop it, twist it, or pull it, follow us on Instagram at the Hellbound Podcast. We would like to feature you on our social media if we can. If you have cosplay, makeup, music, anything else that you want featured, send us a DM, slip right in, and we will get you a feature. Again, that's at the Hellbound Podcast. And as always, harness the darkness.